Welcome back, guys, to the Still Talking Podcast, Episode 3. My name is Joe. I'm your wonderful host. We're having a new guest on every single Wednesday. Today, I'm bringing my good friend, Z, to the table. Welcome, Z.
What's up, everybody? My name is Zaraq, and I'm here joining Joe's podcast.
Yep. And so Z, I mean, we talked, actually met Z this year, right?
Yeah. We should have met much earlier, but I wasn't really like in the office much. So when we got together, it was like, shit, man. We got so much.
Yeah, it was like we really vibed. It was like, oh shit, Z's actually same age as me. We're both 21, right?
Yeah, I followed you on Instagram. You didn't follow me back.
I did follow you back on Instagram. There's no way. There's no way. I followed you back on Instagram. There's no way.
Or Facebook or something like that. Because I know you got tagged. I looked at your profile. I was like, this guy is cool. He's got that Miami vibe, like the cool vibe. So I think I sent you a friend request or a follow on Instagram. You didn't get back. So
I honestly maybe because maybe I didn't know you were. But Z, you're honestly a really cool guy, and I want to bring you on the podcast.
Yeah, that's just Joe though.
Yeah. That really is just me. So Z, I obviously the viewers would like to know more about you, Z. Give us a little insight, Z. Where do you come from? And I know you lived over there in the east, on the east side of the world. I know.
Is that the east?
Yeah, the east, right? East, north, east, southwest.
So Pakistan. So South Asia. That's where I grew up, and we moved here when I was 11 or 12. And we were here. We were in Pakistan. My dad was here like 4 years before us, and then we moved here once our immigration stuff got cleared, the visas and everything. So that's when we ended up moving here. And I'm loving it here, man. The quality of life, I have to say it's amazing compared to there. I mean, it's very different. That I have to say, one, like the culture, the economy is not that good. So
you moved to America when you were 12, right?
Like almost 12. So like on almost 12, 11, but almost 12.
Yeah. So you spent half your life over there in the east. Now you're spending. I mean, you're planning on living here for the rest of your life, or have other. Maybe is there a Dubai penthouse in the future?
Plan. Well, I think we all change so much. Is like in 5 years. I won't know, what I like, what my interests are, or, where I'm at in life. I think it's the same with you. I think it's the same with everybody. We have these like seasons in life. I think we have like different interests, different goals. So I don't know. Right now, I'm good here. Maybe in the future, depending on a lot of circumstances, taxes and all that stuff. How like Logan Paul did. He had
Puerto Rico and all that fun stuff. Getting out there. I know Dubai's got some pretty good tax incentive stuff.
Yeah, 0% tax.
So that's great, Ozzy, and I love that there's a big culture difference between us, and we're able to actually relate in many ways. One of those ways that we relate, I know we're both pretty young, and we both hustle our asses off. Hassle our asses off. Sorry, I don't even know what the hell I just said there. And I mean, we're the same age. I know we came up at different times.
Yeah.
What were you doing? What was your first side hustle that you actually stepped into when you came to the to America?
So I mean, I was doing like everything. I mean, I've had it like in me since. So going back to a point, the culture, like in the beginning, it's very different because you got to get used to everything. So once you do get used to everything, it's much easier. But in the beginning, it's very different. That the language is different. The way people interact with each other is much different. So you got to get used to that in the beginning. But then obviously, if you spend 10 years in a certain situation, you get used to that, and you get used to like interacting with people here and there. So yeah, that's that. Getting into like where I started, I think you have to have that like entrepreneur in you might actually coming out.
And you were like you think you were born with it? Oh, you were born with it. At least I knew I was born with it. I think when I came out of the womb, I was swinging, throwing fists. I was like, I'm gonna be a business owner.
Or something in that area. So the first thing I literally remember when we literally first came, I had a watch that we brought from Pakistan. I thought it was a like a real watch. So I put it up on eBay, and I looked at the other prices. I was like, man, I can sell whatever I have right now and get like $70 for this. And I was like the happiest kid in the world. I put it up on eBay. ended up selling it to somebody in Puerto Rico. Okay, so I ship it to him, and he ends up saying, "This is fake. Like, this is real." I didn't know. I thought it was just a watch, and I looked up the name. Like, I bought it from a local shop in Pakistan and brought it here with me. So I told my grandma, I told my grandma, hey, I sold this for like $70. That's like 8,000 rupees in Pakistan, which is a lot of money. She's like, wow, I'm gonna send you so much more so you can like keep selling this. Ended up selling it. Long story short, ended up like returning it back to me, and I lost the money on the shipping and the return shipping, because you have to like pay for both, because it was the seller's fault. But yeah, I didn't stop. You just keep on going. But that's a good lesson. So I think that was the first thing. In the beginning, that's how I got into it. I got into like the whole buying and selling, the business side, right there.
Yeah, and I mean, for those of you who don't know, Z runs a pretty successful e-commerce business. I know a lot of people who actually do that, and Z is one of those people that are doing it at a high level. I know you started out your career, or at least making some big bucks in real estate, right?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've done a little bit of everything, and then you just like focus on one that you think you have a specific, like a unique knack for, and then you just keep on going for it, because it's something you're really good at. So I've tried YouTube, I've tried like selling on eBay, selling on Amazon FBA. I've tried agency. Like, in the beginning days, you like kind of get into everything just to see what works and what doesn't work, and throwing stuff at the wall, see what sticks and what you like the most. So I think that's what I was into, and then slowly getting into real estate. I saw a job posting from Phil, looking for an assistant. I was like, wow, this is so cool. Like,
Shout out Phil Rebello.
Phil Rebello.
You made a killer to the right. I mean, he still talks about you to this day.
Yeah,
so.
I think it was like really the mindset. And the first day I met with him, I was like, man, I want to be around people like him.
Yeah.
Because like, I think people around you like impact you a lot. I was like, wow, Phil, I have to be more around him, just to watch him, how he navigates through business, how he communicates with people, stuff like that. And I saw him like hustling, like what it takes to be like successful, obviously, and then just like learning from him the whole time. I think for a year I couldn't get my license because I was under 18. Right when I turned 18, I got my license. I think the first day I remember studying for it like the whole week before my test, just because I heard everybody. Did you pass it the first time, right?
I passed half of it the first time. So once you pass the half, the other half you don't have to take that.
It's hard, right?
And I sucked at math, and I still suck at math to this day. But I mean, you don't need to be good at math to.
They
operate.
make it so confusing.
Yeah,
the test.
Yeah, like, and I mean, like if you know what 2 + 2 is, and you know how to use a calculator, I think you'll be all right.
Yeah, I don't know why they make it so confusing on the test. So, like, I did all those practice tests, like, from the day before. Like, I gotta get this, like, on the first try. I can't
Last
wait.
minute kind of thing, yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait, because, like, I had Phil waiting for me. You gotta get this. I felt like kind of a pressure to, like, get it. And then I started helping him with open houses, and then, like, working on his leads, and then, like, really getting into it in, like, the first 3 months. I think, I can't remember how much it was, but it was in the millions, like, in revenue, not profit.
Your first year, you did how much in sales in your first year? Well, and by the way, the average real estate in their first year gets a deal and a half. That's about maybe, if you're lucky, maybe $600,000 at the most. Truly. So, well, how much sales did you get in your very first year in real estate?
I think I got lucky. I don't know what it was. I think I had a lot of support from the office, and I had a lot of leads. So when I got into it, it was really quick. From what I remember, like, I got my first deal in like the first month and a half. It was under 40 days. I was like counting it. I was like, I have to get it in 30 days. I didn't end up getting it in 30 days. So I stretched it out to 40, and then I was like, yeah, all right, I did something here. So it was, the first one was in under 40 days, and then I think it was $8 million in closings in like the first 4 months or something like that. But I think if it wasn't for like the support, the people that I've had around me, the leads, like the people, like they were all hot leads. Like somebody had to come in and work them. So I think I got lucky in that sense. But obviously you have to like do the work. I mean, obviously you've been killing it recently. you know what it takes to like get into it, like get. Like, at
And
the
so
highest
that
level.
that bleeds me into like my next question here is like the viewers watching this, like what are the things that they can implement in their life, such as like education, certain like tricks that we would give them. I mean, for me personally, passion goes a long way in business.
Yeah.
I've been in 3 industries. Well, I mean, you could call my very first business. I was a property management. I was land scraping at.
So you had that
at
like
14
experience.
years. Yeah, and I mean, that was a great business model when we sold it off, and it was great. And then secondly was more of the financial markets, and that was very lucrative in its own.
Oh, yeah.
But hopping into real estate, at least for me and any viewers watching, like a bit of help for you would be follow your passion. I don't know what are similar you would have to that.
I think discipline is gonna
That's a good one.
lead you a long way.
That's a good one, actually.
So-
No, and you're right. Consistency goes a far way. In any industry, really.
Because we can watch those like the motivation videos that get you hyped up, like the UFC fighters. You know how Conor McGregor did his legacy. If you watch his background, it gives you kind of a hope, but that only lasts a certain time. If you think about it, if you continue to keep watching those, it helps in the short term, but in the long term, it's just like with gym. Consistency. If just go get in there, do a little bit, and then continue to do it. So you don't break that cycle off. Because once you break it off, it gets hard to like get back into it. So I think doing the discipline side is very important. Like, and then obviously you're gonna fail in a lot of things. I've had like run ads to like different products, different offers, different funnels. They fail, but you're gonna win. If you don't give up, So just like in real estate, you call this guy, he's like, no, leave me alone. Like you call the next one, like you're gonna get the big one. You have one coming up, like a good one. Yeah. Maybe you can talk about that.
Yeah. Well, and so like, I mean, I mean, you just mentioned I was killing that. I mean, I'm constantly in the mindset that I need to be doing more. I know you and Corey De Silva had another piece of film you guys were doing, and another thing was like your words were saying in your early 20s you're supposed to just work your ass off, right? You don't have a family, you don't have much, and I think that's what we relate on too.
Yeah. You think the same thing?
What?
Do you believe in the same like grind, like when you're early 20s, or like focus on one thing? Or what would you say?
I'm starting to like realize that there's more to life that you should be discovering yourself. I know you were just talking about consistency and working hard. A thing that's actually helped my life get on a better direction. I mean, coming off of 2 other industries, it's like I walked into real estate with little to no knowledge. I just had a bunch of passion. I mean, I knew this is what I wanted to do. Yeah. I mean, I used to listen to motivational videos every night before I go to sleep. Like listen to them as like
they get me too hyped up. I can't even sleep.
Well, like I got David Goggins yelling in my ear to just do it. Like who's gonna carry the boats, kind of stuff. And I'm it's funny, but like it actually works. I've developed routines in my life now that I never used to do. And I'm going on 22 years old, and I have a lot more to look forward to. Business in real estate and just life experience in general. But to answer your question, I mean, I do think at 20 years old and so on, and that's kind of the point of this podcast, is tell the viewers, everyone watching this is about that same age gap. If you really just put the frickin' work in at 20, what are you going to be like by 25? What are you going to be like when you're 30? Yeah. You're going to have everything set up in the right direction to get to a level when you're 30, man, you retire.
Because like I imagine like thinking about, where am I going to get the payment for my mortgage or like bills or this? I don't want to think about it. That's the worst thing.
Yeah, and I mean like
around 30.
Shit, I was on the streets at one point. And I mean, I know we both come from very humble beginnings, and I think that bit of hunger goes a long way too. Yeah, it's very hard for a person. That's not saying impossible. If you come from a very white collar family and are able to be funded through college,
and you don't want to go back into that situation, right? Like,
and that's like the big thing. Like when I eventually left my parents' house at 18 years old, and this world's a very big world. I said I'm never going back there. It's not because I hate them. It's not because I hate my life. It's because I knew if it's the person I wanted to be, I can't go run back to the parents anymore. I can't rely on these folks to carry me to the finish line. The only person that's going to get me there is me. And I mean, that's gone a long way in my journey. How about yourself?
I think it's the same. It's like helping out my family. Like, I mean, obviously we came from another country. My dad didn't have, a job for a very long time. It was very, very, very tough. That's the reason why we moved here, basically. Better education, better financial. That's what basically, all of us want. So I think it's all like helping out my family, like helping out my family, especially like my family in Pakistan, like to just like help them with their bills, their needs, because I know it's very, very tough over there, man.
Yeah.
Very tough.
And I'm on the board now.
So-
It's like, and like I want to help out my family, and eventually I want to have my own family, and that's why I say work hard now. By 30,
Because you want to focus on your kids when you're, you don't want to be focused on like getting your money. I think it's just like go off on one thing at a time. Like when you have kids, I want to be there for my son, my daughter. I want to be there. Like you got.
He's pulling the heartstrings right now. Of all
I
the
think
viewers
it's too
watching.
early for me to be talking like that, but I think whoever I watch, like the bigger dogs and like the guys that are like killing it in business, is like you have to give that time to them,
Yeah.
To
Well,
really-
and I mean, and you're only going to get there if you work your ass off early. I mean, you don't want to be 30 years old with two more mouths to feed and a whole wife that you got to buy stuff for every week now,
Imagine.
and then like having to struggle like that. That's probably even worse. I mean, I like the struggle, I do, but if and when I have a wife and children, I don't want them to struggle. And
do you want to spoil them? What do you think about that? It's a tough topic.
And to any people watching too, I mean, I would hope everyone wants to spoil the ones they love.
Yeah.
I also want them to learn the lessons that.
What do you think of
that?
that? Yeah, that side. You know how
The lessons I want my kids to learn aren't as harsh as the ones I learned. I would say that. I mean, I wouldn't even say my lessons were pretty harsh, but to other people, they're harsh. And I
Yeah.
mean, there's levels to it everywhere. But I mean, I would like my kids to learn the hard way. I mean, when and if I retire ever in my life,
Yeah.
I want my kids to be set, but with enough to learn that dad's money's not coming forever. There's going to be a point in life where you need to get up off the couch and go work. Now,
or set up a trust for them, or you're not getting this money until you build yourself as a man, or like learn life is, because I feel like if you give them everything, buy them the best car, buy them the best clothes, they're like, oh, like I deserve this.
Yeah.
Which
Well, and I mean, if it's your family, if that's the way you want to go about it, I think
it's tough. I don't even know how we'll deal with it. We have no idea.
Oh, we're still young.
Yeah.
I mean, and many people watching are about the same age too. And I mean, I feel like everyone's on the level that this new generation is a lot more softer than the previous ones. I've seen the way my father grew up. I've seen the way his father grew up, and it makes me think. I'm like, whoa, I have it easy.
Are we going like this?
Yeah,
going down.
It's bad, and I mean, like it's however you want to look at it too.
Yeah.
I mean, I know some kids that are struggling, and I knew some kids that were struggling, and they are in a far better place than I am. And I mean, I feel like I may have struggled a little more than them, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's not on the level you struggle. It's what you do to set yourself up for the future.
Yeah.
I mean, I know what my ideal life looks like, Z, but what does yours look like?
My ideal life. I don't even know.
In 10 years, Z, where do you want to be? That's a good question.
I think I know where I want to be in 5 years, but 10 years, I don't know. It's a
The
big
next
time.
decade.
So let's say,
Just give me something.
all right. I do want to live in a bigger city. Okay. While I don't have kids.
Fall River's the stomping grounds right now?
Nah, I think it's too small for me.
Fall River's too small for you?
Yeah, I think it's too small. I think either Boston or New York. That's like my. But keep in mind, I don't know how that life is. So maybe I go there. I'm like, nah, this is too much. I don't know how that's gonna feel. So
Well, I can tell you from living in the city.
Yeah,
I mean, I've lived in Florida for a while, Miami. It's the center part of I guess the new tech in the United States. It's very popular there. I'm not gonna lie.
Wild.
It's very wild in its own, but it's chaotic. There's always something going on out in the city. I know there's a couple other people that share the wants of always having to do something, but honestly, lately I like the small town. I like to be able to do it.
The less distractions.
less distractions and more just like you can get your name more local, and then you can build on that. Like I really wish that, I mean, I'm still young, we're still young. I wish a couple years ago when I started, I wish I really would have pushed getting more local before I took the step of moving to a city, because it probably would have made me interact better with the city folk.
Yeah, with the city.
Yeah.
So I think that's like that's one part of it, is like the distraction too, big.
Yeah.
Like what got you to, like, you know, you could be working on something like focused every day, but then we're humans. I mean, like whatever's around us, we're gonna like become that way. That's just how it goes. So I think if you go there, you see people partying, like going out every single day, then you're gonna have to find, it's gonna be much harder for you to find the time to work on the stuff that's gonna get you to the next level. Some people can do it. I don't know, if you're young, you have that like the mindset of like, I want to like get this out of my system now, like go off. It's very hard.
Yeah,
and I'm sure you can. Like,
it really is. I mean, I was partying a lot a couple years ago, and I feel like the older I'm getting, the more I want to work, and I don't want to get to 45 and still be partying hard. Like, don't get me wrong. I think my life now is 90% work, 10% whatever you want. I mean, but there's more stuff that comes on my plate every week. And I'd like to just get this push to getting wrapped up. But so the viewers watching, Z, I know we went deep into depth of just setting up your life, what your life looked like, how we both experienced some things. But what are some words of encouragement you'd actually give to the to the viewers watching this?
I'm pretty young. I don't have that much experience, of course, so I can't really preach anybody.
You are still a pretty wise guy.
Okay. So, but I can tell what I've done, or what stuff that has helped me personally that could be beneficial to somebody else. Is, I think, I would say invest more in like courses and like knowledge, because like,
I hated courses, but I would almost agree with that. Knowledge is a very good thing, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I never used to read books. Truly, I saw a book, read 2 pages. No, actually, like, and you read, right?
Oh yeah, I love. I don't read physical books, but yeah, Audible, my favorite thing in the world. So Audible, it's the same thing. I feel like it's the same thing.
And when you got started in dropshipping, you were buying dropshipping courses.
I think it's very, it's good, because it's like, all right, here's point A. This is how you start, and here's point Z.
Point Z.
Point Z. I don't know if that's makes any sense, but A to Z, it's in that one course. It's in that one place. So you don't have to. I mean, obviously you can watch hundreds of YouTube videos, but that doesn't really go into depth that much. So if you invest in that, and there's ways you can buy courses for cheaper. So there's websites. Look it up. That's a trick. I mean, it's not the most ethical way, but before, when I was starting out,
I mean, you have ChatGPT now. You could ask ChatGPT for a whole career plan on how to get successful in dropshipping. It's not hard. I feel like people just have the mental block of being like, I don't want to pay $15 to learn something on dropshipping. I can go on YouTube for free. But those are the same people that will never do anything. So if you're one of those people, I would say just buy the
free,
damn course.
No, it's and the ChatGPT is free.
ChatGPT is free, but I'm talking more of like, I mean, I know Bieheza's course and Fox Finance, all these guys on YouTube that have courses. A lot of big things I hear is like, oh, I don't want to pay $15.
Yeah, it's like you have to invest in yourself, basically.
Yeah, that's a great word for it. Investing in yourself.
Yeah, there's a thing from Alex Hormozy. I don't know if you watched him before as well. He has this saying. It's costing whatever you're making right now. Let's say you're making 50 grand, and you want to make $1 million. He said it's costing you $950,000 not to learn how to become $1 million. Make $1 million a year or whatever.
That's honestly great. Honestly,
I think he says it's better, but I'm paraphrasing it, so I think it makes sense. But the knowledge is. I think the knowledge is what's separating me compared to somebody making $1 million a month, $1 million in revenue a month, $1 million in sales per year. I think it's all the knowledge.
Yeah.
If I get a CMO or CFO or CEO, like the C-suite guys from like the big large companies, they have the knowledge. They can build the product. They can build the team. They can hire. They can do all that stuff. Like quick.
Yeah.
And that's what gets you the money. And what's separating me from him is knowledge. Is what he knows that I don't know, and how to do it, and what you know.
No, and that's honestly a great insight. And I think every viewer should take that away. If you take anything out of this podcast, invest in yourself and just get some education in you. Because, I mean, look at Z, self-made man to my right. I like to call myself a hustler as well.
Yeah, I'm not nowhere close to where I
me.
want to be.
Yeah.
I'm nowhere close to where I want to be. I'm just starting out. We're starting out. Also,
Well, that's what gets me excited about the future. But look, we're running a little bit on time here, Z. I'm glad I had you on. Any last remarks to the viewers watching, or?
No, I mean, if there's anybody like has any specific questions, you can ask. But it's just stay disciplined, I guess. If that's what your focus is. If
As Goggins would say, stay hard.
stay hard.
Stay hard. All right, everybody.
Doesn't sound right.
Stay hard. Well, that's what Goggins says. Who's going to carry the boats, right? Who's going to carry the boats?
I like that guy.
All
I
right,
like
guys.
his book.
Yeah, David Goggins is great. All right, guys. Well, I'm so glad you tuned in episode 3 of Still Talking. Like I said, every single Wednesday we'll have a new person on the pod. I'm so thankful for Z for coming on today. And we'll see you on the next one.